Hello friends, welcome to another exciting episode in our Photoshop design series. In this video I'll be showing you how I created this Divas night flyer in Photoshop. Of course, it's gonna be easy all the way, just like previous videos. If you've not subscribed, now is the best time to subscribe. Without having to waste much time, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go over to file, and I'm just going to put the name of the design I want to create here. So for mine is going to be design Divas flyer, and copy my settings 5x5 resolution 300. And okay, so over here I'll revert these colors by clicking and come over here to adjust main layer. Click on, I'm going to use this color, right? So after doing that, I'm going to my file and I'm just going to select what I'm using first, which is this one. Okay, so you need to expand it like this and go up to filter, click on blur and select Gaussian blur like this, and I'm going to increase the radius like this. Right, so when I get the right amount of radius, I'm going to turn it off. So this is before, this is after. Right, great. Okay, so this is the color code that I use for my background, so you can go ahead and make use of it too. So just copy and use it. So okay, so let's move on then. Directly on top of this, I'm going to go ahead and bring this in like this, make it smaller, and position it well. Click OK. Of course, I want to get rid of these sharp edges. Create a mask, right? Select your brush and make sure you turn off cap locks to see this. If not, this is what you get. So go around the edges like this and conceal those edges like this, and like this, round until you get a perfect something close to circle, right? Not entirely circular, but something nice close to the circle shape. So you're just going to move this up like this, click on it, make sure you're clicking on it and not on the mask. Filter and go to blur and throw in a little bit of Gaussian blur on it. You can use my settings and click OK when you're done. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the image of my model. I think this is where the huge chunk of work lies, so it's very good to stay attentive at this part and watch every moment, right? So click on this and I'm going to rasterize it. Immediately you rasterize it, you're going to see remove background. Make sure your property is turned on. If you don't see it, you get it here. Make sure it's turned on. So click on remove background to remove the background for you. Right, most times this is how I remove backgrounds in Photoshop. Very easy way, right? But then this is the problem I run into most times. Let me zoom this closer. You can see that the edges, you have whites there and all of that. I usually do not like it. Look at it, yeah. So we want to get rid of that. So how do we do that? The first thing you need to do here is turn this on like this. Okay, so what you want to do is right click and convert this to a smart object. First things first. Now when you do that, it's been turned to a smart object. Hold down Control while you click on this to see this selection, right? Go to select, hold down Shift before you click on select and mask, right? Then you can come here and decontaminate this. Click on this and select new layer, right? Most times I just select any of them and it works for me. And turn up this radius. You can see that that white thingy at the edge has miraculously disappeared. Okay, so you can now hold down Shift, select the two of them and convert to smart object. So it's just one image like this, right? So we're done with that. So the next thing I would like to do is, let me move this in place, push it upwards a little bit, is to create a mask on this, and I want to get rid of these edges, so make my brush smaller like this, and I'm just going to conceal this part like this, Make sure you do this with all precision, right? You can zoom in and zoom out when you need to. The next thing I'm going to do is click on filter, camera raw, still on the same image. I'm still working on the same image. All right, so just a few things here. I'm just going to go over to where I have my texture, bump it up a little bit. You can feel free to do 30, and contrast all the way. You can make both 30-30, right? So this is what I have when I do that. All right, you can see the image is a little bit more punchier than it was before. All of that. Select these three and group them. I'm just going to name this simple BG, and right. Okay, so having done that, let's move on. So I'm just going to move this to the right place, and great, I think I'm okay with it there. So let's start with our adjustment with this. So I'm just going to go to solid adjustment, and I'm going to click on exposure like this. Okay, so what we want to do basically is make sure that the light and the image itself have a good number of contrast. So applying that exposure, you see that it's affecting everything. So right click and create clipping mask like this, so it clips only to the image itself, right? So this is before, this is after, right? So I'm just going to add a little bit of this, copy my settings, please just use my settings, use these values, right? And I'm just going to move this up like this to get something like this. Having gotten that out of the way, the next thing I would want to do is let me see, I think this is nice like this. Great. Okay, so I have a good space for my lights to come in. All right, just like this. So having done that, I would go to my adjustment layer and click on solid color. Again, I'm just going to use lighting color and bring this down a bit and move this up here. Great, so this is the color I'm going to use. You can copy this and use also. I'm going to double click on this, select this so it reflects on the foreground color. I'm going to change the blend mode to screen like this, and so you see what we have a problem is affecting the entire image. So the first thing you want to do is create clipping mask so it's on the image itself, and the next thing you want to do is go over to the mask because we don't want it all over her body like this. Ctrl I to invert the mask, right? So we can no longer see it. So what you need to do is select the brush, reduce your flow. You can use 70. I choose to use 60. I'm going to reduce this, or you can do that manually, and I'm just going to reduce it the way I know how to reduce it with my bracket keys. So then of course, because you're working on black, revert this to white, and voila, start painting on the image just like this, right? So you need to be very delicate, you need to be very precise while you are doing this, so you don't make a mess of it, because it's very easy for you to make a mess of. Most times I see designs, especially students try to copy what I do, and instead of they go and do something else entirely. So when you are doing this, make sure you are doing this with precision. When you make mistakes like this that I've just done, Ctrl Z, and of course always remember that you can always zoom in with your scroll wheel, zoom in to see these things well, just like this. So you can zoom in, and of course when it needs to, you can also zoom out so that you can get things done well, right? So I'm just going to gradually, you can see how I'm going gradually. I'm not in a haste about this, just so I get perfection, right? I'm going to continue it here too, the same way like this, and of course the light doesn't go beyond this point. You just have to have a good imagination of how the light would be if there were a natural light, right? So that's just the concept of lighting and everything. Blending option, so click on blending option, hold down Alt and drag this to divide this, and this is what you get. Of course, it has blended in well in our jacket and on the hair. Create a new layer, create clipping mask with this color currently selected. Change the blend mode to linear dodge art. You might change it later. What you want to do is, let's zoom close. Your brush selected, gradually do this. You can see that this one is much more lighter than the first one we did, so this one is much more lighter. So of course this is the other layer. Just like when you want to paint, you paint the first layer, and don't know a painter but understand the basics of painting, because I do that on my screen and of course with my tablet and everything, so it's much more easier that way. So you're basically painting on areas that you've painted on before, and with your brush like this. Right, so make sure again you are precise with this process. So when you do this, the next thing to do is blending mode option, and hold down the alt key while you divide this, not too much at this time. Now click OK. So this is what you have. So with this, one thing you want to do is go over to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, and you can just play with the blur value. You can see what increasing the blur actually does. Make sure you don't do it too much like this, the way it is. Make sure it's not too much, so you can experiment on how well you want it, just like I am doing now. Right, so let's see, I think this is okay to an extent, but I would like to increase it just a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my slider and click OK, that I'm done. Right, so I can use screen or I can use linear dodge art. If I want extra light, I use linear dodge art. If I want these lights to be mild, I use screen, and you can always control it here also if you feel it's too much. And yeah, until you get your desirable result. So I'm just going to blur this some more, apply some extra blur to it, and when I'm done I click OK. Of course, if you notice that the lights are already getting in the way of the face, right? So what I want to do is create a mask, and because I'm on white, I'm going to go to black, and with my brush selected, I'm going to conceal those areas with my brush like this. Right, capiche? Just like this, before and after. Right, great. And I'm just going to adjust this way, and I'm going to click OK. Create a new layer directly under the background. Use this color code, and with your brush selected, you can make it bigger like this. Just double at the back, change the blend mode to linear dodge art. I'm going to add some more like this, add some more here, add some more here, and that's all. So you can see before and after, right? Great, so we're good to go. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go over and create a new adjustment layer. Make sure I'm the topmost layer, and I'm going to select color balance like this. So with color balance, right click and create clipping mask like this. Copy my settings for this. So I'm just going to turn up the reds, turn towards the yellows on midtones first. Right, so highlights, I'm just going to, because I need more yellows, I'm just going to go over, yes, I'm just going to go towards the yellow region, use my settings, add a little bit of reds to it, just like this. I think I like it at this. Right, okay, There you go. So select 5 of them, group them, and name this model like this. Okay, just this way. So you have the backgrounds. I want to reduce the Gaussian blur for this, not too much. Okay, I think this is nice. Click OK. So I think with this we're good to go. Let me close this. Create a new layer above all of them, and go to your text tool, and I'm just going to introduce my fonts, my text, which is Divas, and I'm going to change the font to the one I used. The name of the font is Brick. So this is Brick, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just going to reduce this, and of course reduce the space, increase and change it to white like this. Yeah, create a clipping mask, and select your pen to make sure it's set to shape, and what you want to do is, no, that's not right, click there, click here, click here, click here, and close it up here like this. Right, great. So this is it. This is what you have. So create another new layer, and this time I'm just going to type night. So it's Divas night. I'm going to change the font here. I'm using month for this, month light. So Ctrl T, increase the size of the text like this, just this way. Increase this way, and position this well like this, and click enter. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to create a new layer like this, and I'm going over to my rectangle to draw a rectangle like this. Make sure it's not too big, it's not too small, just somewhere in between. Right, so double click on the thumbnail to bring up the color picker and change it to red like this. And what you want to do is Ctrl J, make a duplicate copy of this, and hold down shift while you reduce from the side like this. Hold down Alt while you increase from the edge like this. Right, double click on the thumbnail, select the color from this part. I think I'm just going to go up a bit. Yeah, this is what I need. So you can copy the code and use too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new layer, click on the text tool, and type outside. Make sure you're typing outside, right, to avoid stories that touch. And I'm just going to select the font that I use, and I'm going to put in the date and time. Okay, select these three, and what you want to do is make it smaller. Ctrl T, make it smaller, and drag it to this point here like this. Of course, you can now, I think this way, yes, I think this way is better. So make it bigger this way, and place it inside like this. Right, great. And the next thing you want to do is create a new layer. Go to your rectangle and draw a rectangle here like this. Of course, double click on the thumbnail and select this color here, repetition in design. Click on the mask, and what you want to do is click on this gradient, G for gradient. Just press G on your keyboard, hold down shift while you drag this like this to fade out that side. Hold down shift and do the same thing for the other side too. Easy peasy, right? Great. So what you want to do is, I'll just go over, create a new layer, and my text tool, I'm just going to type the address. Okay, great. So having done that, I'll just go over to my resource file and bring in the last image for this particular Divas Night flyer, which is this text, and I'm just going to drag and just drop like this and click enter that way. Okay, so this is just about how this flyer was created, and I hope you can see that they are easy and few steps. You can replicate it yourself if you have been following attentively. So it's always very good you follow attentively so you get everything. If you don't get it, you can pause and rewind to get these things, right? So the last thing I want to do is I would want to not this. I would want to apply a color balance. So go to the topmost layer and just copy my settings, throw in a little bit of reds and yellows in the mid-tones. You can see how rich the tone has become. Shadows, I will not go too well on I will not go into the blues. I would add yellow instead and add a little bit of red instead, +1. And for the highlights, I'm just going to go in on the yellows because I have yellow as a highlight. That's the light part of it. Alright guys, there you go, easy peasy, and everything looks balanced. And yes, there you have your Night's Divas flyer. Alright guys, this is how I created this Divas Night flyer in Photoshop. Please kindly subscribe to my channel if you've not subscribed to my channel. This is the best way to support my channel and to support everything I put out for you guys. I love you all. See you next video.